This is the 2024 Honda Passport EXL. Is it worth every penny? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. And today I'm at Holmes Honda to give you the information to answer that question. If you would like to know more about this particular model or come into Holmes Honda and buy anything else they have in inventory, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is radiant red, and it has what the window sticker says is a brown interior. You could also call it mocha. A very nice look. So something other than black for those of you who say, I'm just not interested in a black interior. So there's another option for you with the Passport. And if you're looking for a good solid two-row SUV, mid-size, this Passport is a good option for you. Plenty of power under the hood, plenty of room in the interior. And one thing about the interior that I really like is you find a lot of spaces for smaller items. You don't always find that in all vehicles. A squared off look here to the front end from the A-pillars forward. While that's nothing new, it's something that's here for those who maybe aren't familiar with the Passport. Maybe you're considering buying a 24 model. Well, then that is something you need to know about. Plenty of LED lighting, LED headlights, and LED daytime running lights here on the front end of the vehicle. All-wheel drive, obviously standard here. Let's talk about our tire and wheel size. 265 will be the width. You will have a 45 series sidewall wrapped around the 20-inch wheels. There is a spare tire that comes with the vehicle. That's always a win. And you have the manually folding side view mirrors. They do fold in two different directions. Turn signal indicators are built in, body colored mirror caps. And you will find power adjustable side view mirrors. They are heated. Now you might notice that there isn't blind spot monitoring here. That doesn't mean it's not here. It's just that we're so used to seeing that in so many of these vehicles in the side view mirrors now. But here on the Passport, at least for this year, it's going to be right here. I don't know what we'll see for 2025 if we see a full redesign or not. I don't want to make any guesses on that because Honda hasn't said anything. At least not just yet as of mid-February of 2024. Here is the remote. I know the main thing a lot of you like to know about. There it is, remote start. It is a proximity key, and you do have the walk-away feature. We'll also have the body-colored shark fin antenna up there, the rear roof spoiler that not only looks nice, that does have use. It's not here just for looks. That actually will channel air over your rear window. That's one of the ways that helps to keep the rear window clean, among a few other things. Now you will have your exposed rear window wiper here. I don't think that's as big of a deal necessarily. Not too big. I do like to see a clean rear window area back here and tuck that rear wiper up here, but it's not here, not necessarily a big deal. LED taillights will finish things off. Plenty of LED lighting front and rear of this vehicle. And the Passport logo and obviously all-wheel drive right there. Now instead of having a chrome piece, the trim or the brow on the front end is chrome. Back here, this trim piece that I wouldn't really call a brow, however, it's just some trim, but it's gloss black. Do you think that should be the case on the front end, on the top portion of the grille? And we'll finish things off here with the dual exhaust. I do have to say I like that because it has a nice, consistent, maybe a better way to put it is balanced look, instead of having just one exhaust pipe back here. Speaking of that, let's talk about that V6 under the hood that I mentioned earlier in the video. Under the hood is the 3.5 liter Honda VTEC V6. It makes 280 horsepower and 262 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Let's take a look at our MPGs here on this particular model. 19 city, 24 highway, 21 combined, and 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Whether the vehicle is locked or not, your gas door will be locked. You'll have to use that button in the interior that I just did to open the gas door, revealing your capless fuel fill. And when you fill it up, you'll be filling a 19.5 gallon gas tank. If you're interested in pulling a trailer with your Passport, we're looking at 5,000 pounds of towing capability. At least that's what Honda tells us. Cargo capacity, while it's said to come in at 50.5 to 100.7 to 100.8 cubic feet, I'm going to take that a step further and tell you how much you have in the way of inches. A little more practical use and a little more understandable. The width of the opening back here is going to be 46 inches. If we measure from the floor to this area right here, we're looking at 32 inches, and you'll gain an inch. When you get into the interior, that goes to 33 inches of height. And we're gonna have a couple of different measurements on width. When you take advantage of the space here from one side to the other, we're looking at 62 inches. 47 from wheel well to wheel well. And if we measure from where the rear door closes to the back of the rear seats when they're in the upright position, that's going to be 41 inches. Obviously, we can lower the seats by pushing these buttons. That's going to be very helpful. And that will increase the depth of the cargo space or available cargo space from where the rear door closes back here to the back of the front seats to 79 inches. Now that can vary just a little bit, plus or minus, depending on where those front seats are located. And there is space underneath the floor right here. In fact, there's a few things you can do. We're gonna lay that down right there. You can see your additional space right here. And if you lift up on this area, well, there is your spare tire. If you're wondering where that is, it's not underneath the vehicle. That's where it is. Obviously, you can keep this section out of the way. That's pretty easy to deal with. And you're going to find a little bit of extra space over here as well. So quite a bit back here. We have our 12-volt power outlet as well, right there, and the space on the sides right here. That's not all, obviously, but like I was saying earlier in the video, there's a lot of smaller spaces throughout the interior for smaller items that just makes storage a lot better. And let's talk about what your rear seat passengers are going to find. The armrest, well, I'm not going to keep my arm up there for very long, but it seems to be pretty comfortable, I'd say. Long term, it's hard to say because I'm not going to have my arm up there for a long time. The cup holders right here will definitely see plenty of use. And the, well, door bin, I guess we'll call that. Not a ton of space there, but there is some additional space. That's a good thing. And let me do one thing here. Let's move the seat back a little bit. There is the recline. I don't know how easy it is to see how much you have right there. When I get in here and sit back, it actually feels like more than it looks like, if that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to get that unless you actually get back here and experience it for yourself. You'll also find rear seat pockets on the back of each seat, as well as the rear air conditioning vents right here, and a couple of USB options. There's also the fold-down armrests, so we can see what's there with the cup holders built in. I know if you watch me a lot, I say this a lot, but it bears repeating. I wish more automakers would design their fold-down armrests in the back seats like this, because normally the cup holders are not in this position. They're right here. And so when the rear seat passengers have one or two bottles back here, it kind of alleviates or eliminates the use of the armrest. Here, they can still get their arm up there and make use of it. So that makes sense. I don't know why we don't see that in more vehicles. And we'll also find the sunroof right here. And that is conventional size. I know a lot of you are saying, I hope when the Passport is redesigned that we'll see a panoramic sunroof. For now, this is what we have. It does tilt and slide open. And I know a lot of you are saying, okay, Tom, for us to know if this Passport is worth every penny, we need to know how many pennies we're going to need to buy it. $43,750 is what we have on the sticker in this particular case. Let's see what else you get for that price. The armrests going to feel the same as what we had in the rear, but one big difference you'll find here is going to be the upper and the lower door bins. Quite a bit more space here where that is concerned. Power adjustable seats for the passenger and driver. Comfortable seats, by the way. And we'll hop on inside here and take a look at what we have as far as more space goes within the glove box. There is a lot in there right now as far as the front license plate bracket and some plastic. Now you can see what's there. So plenty of space where that is concerned. And you'll know that you have heated seats as well for the driver and the passenger by what we have right there. A little bit of space here for, I guess you could put cell phones in there, something like that. And we also have a 12-volt power outlet, a couple of USB options, and then there's that wireless charging pad that I know a lot of you would like to see. Would you like to see Honda maybe add a second wireless charging pad? It could happen, could be useful when the Passport receives a redesign. And you'll notice that we obviously have the push-button shifter right here and our cup holders. Now, one of the changes that is rather significant here for the Passport for 2024, there was a bit of a refresh here for this year, including the elimination of the armrests that used to be here. So what do you think about that? Would you rather have those armrests back, or do you like the larger center console with the lid that doubles as an armrest? Plenty of space there. That, well, can be useful. Some people might like it, some people might not. Tell me what you think. And plenty of space within that area. And if you're curious to see what's here with the upper console, you don't have the conversation mirror, but you do have the sunglass holder. And I'll show you some of the other controls and features here. Obviously, you'll be able to control the position of your sunroof if you want to open that, tilt or slide open, and obviously your reading lights or map lights are there as well. And here on the driver's side door, basically the same layout, but you're going to have a few more switches and buttons here than what we had on the passenger side. I showed you earlier, there's where you're going to open the gas door, and obviously you can control the power tailgate back there, and a couple of settings for seat memory right here. You'll also find the settings for your side view mirrors right here, alongside the button for econ mode, traction control, and some of your other safety features and different features to help out there. By the way, this model does have front and rear parking sensors. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopically adjustable. And we'll go ahead and start things up and let you see what's on the dashboard. No changes where that is concerned, but not necessarily a big deal. Easy to deal with. You have your gauges there, your digital speedometer, all of that is going to be here. Pretty easy to deal with and figure out. And then you do have your steering wheel mounted controls here. You're going to have the paddle shifters as well to work your way back and forth if you so desire to through that 9-speed automatic transmission. And here's how you're going to control those LED headlights right here, and the front and rear window wiper control here on the right-hand side of the steering column. So pretty easy to deal with. Now, here is the screen, and that flickering effect, my camera is giving that. It's not actually happening in real time. You will have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay here, as you can see, and some of the other features that you have as far as what you can do. Pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to figure out. If you've never had this kind of technology before, I think you could easily use the hunt and peck method to figure your way out around. You will have the multi-view rear view camera here. See if we can get that to change views for us so we can show you all 3 views. A little bit slow. Hopefully we won't see that in the future. I think Honda will change that when the Passport is redesigned. We'll go to a little bit faster system. That's going to be a good thing. Now, one thing I didn't talk about earlier is what you have here. So you've got the D and the S right there. Drive and sequential mode is what that's going to be. But we also have the button right here. That's going to change driving modes as well. And what will it change to? Well, you start with normal. You can go to snow. You also have mud. And you have sand. You also have the corresponding graphics to go with that. And we'll have our push button. Start right there for the engine to start and stop the engine. You will also find that you have dual zone climate control right here. Pretty easy to deal with. Obviously, you have a 3rd zone in the rear. We don't need it today, but there are your settings for your heated seats. And if you want to turn off the auto stop start system, or idle stop as Honda calls it, there's your button to do that. All right, let's get out on the road for our test drive. And as far as the overall driving experience goes, as far as I'm concerned, I think the Passport has a comfortable ride quality. I say this a lot in my videos. For those of you who don't normally watch, it's always good to consider the fact that those of us who make these videos on YouTube, whether we realize it or not, we're filtering the experience of driving a vehicle like this through what we're most used to. So, in that case, obviously that means our daily driver, some people driving a lot more than one. But one way or another, for me personally, I think the ride quality here is good. It seems comfortable based on what I'm used to. You also have to consider the fact that where you live, you may have better roads than we do here in Northwest Louisiana. That's usually the case. Maybe not always, but you might. And then again, you might not. It just depends on the situation. So you have to factor all of those things in depending on what you're dealing with. That's why it's best to get out and drive these vehicles for yourself. But overall, I think the ride quality is good. The gas pedal and the brake pedal seem to be easy to manage, but sometimes that again may depend on what you're used to and what you're coming from. That's where it's better to just get in to your local Honda dealership and try driving one of these Passports. But I'll try and pass on the information as best as I can to you. So for me, it's very easy to deal with. And even with all-wheel drive, everything that you have here, it handles very well. You seem to have that comfortable ride quality. I do wish I had more time behind the wheel. And when I say that, what I mean is instead of just doing a quick little test drive for just a few minutes, I really wish that I could go on a little bit longer drive, maybe for a couple of hours or so. And then I could tell you, well, even the seats are comfortable. They have a good, comfortable feel to them. I don't feel worn out, but I don't have that experience, unfortunately. So maybe some of you who do can share that down in the comments section. But for me, based on what I am experiencing, the seats do seem to be comfortable. But the longer you sit in a vehicle and ride, well, the more you're going to be able to share feedback on what that experience is like long term. Now, one thing I can definitely say without any question is the technology here is very easy to learn and very easy to use. It will be interesting to see what comes in the future with the Passport. I think we'll probably see some similarities to what we've already seen with some of the other models that have been fully redesigned, but from what I understand, we're not going to see a two-row pilot. Now that's going to be interesting to experience for ourselves and see for ourselves, but I know my friends at Holmes Honda told me that everybody received an email, or at least it was shared with the staff, that the Passport would be on its own, basically independent platform for 2025 or whenever it's fully redesigned. I should just say when that time comes. I'm not going to try and guess, like I've said earlier in the video. But for now, for those of you who are saying, you know, I really don't want to wait until 2025 or later, this is what you get. Easy to learn, easy to use. Some of the safety features can be a little aggressive at times, but the good news is you can go into the infotainment screen here and make some changes where those kinds of things are concerned. So you're not just stuck with certain settings. That's always a good thing to know, but everything is here. Like I said earlier in the video, you can use the hunt and peck method to figure out your way around. That's how easy it is to do. All of us had to learn this at some point. I know there's people out there saying, I'll never use all of that, and maybe you won't. But I know there's a few people who have told me, they said, when I buy a new vehicle, I will never use all the technology that's available in that vehicle. And after a little bit of time of learning, they find themselves using it all. Some way, shape, or form. It may not be all the time, but there's a lot of different options and features there. So don't let that scare you away. And as I like to say, remember, where you are right now is the best place to learn that sort of thing. Right here on YouTube, plenty of tutorials that you can go back and watch over and over and over again until you know you've got it. So it's not a big deal. It's easy to deal with. But overall, a very well-rounded vehicle, easy to see out of. You do have your blind spot monitoring, as I showed you. Now, here's an interesting question that some of you might want to answer. I'd be curious to get your feedback. Here in the Passport, you still have the blind spot monitoring inside the vehicle. I showed you where it is located here on the inside of the door panel. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have it in the side view mirror, as we see with so many other models? So tell me what you think about the 2024 Honda Passport. Are you planning to buy a 24 model, or wait for the 2025 model year and see if there's a full redesign on the way? I'll be surprised if that doesn't happen, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to make any promises because I just don't know, just like everybody else right now. Well, the majority out there. There are people who know. I'm just not one of them. So tell me what you think. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Passport for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.